Hello, I'm Hal Lublin.
And I'm Mark Gagliardi.
Since the dawn of humanity, one issue has gone unsettled. With the fate of the world in the balance, we're here to settle, once and for all, best Batman movie.
That's right. Don't worry, everyone. We got this.
Podcast should have a theme song. Podcast should not have a theme song. Yes, they should. No, they shouldn't. They sound good. Yeah, but people are just going to skip past it. You know what? You're right. We got this.
What is happening to you?
I don't know.
All right,
Ready?
here we go.
Me, I ruined it.
I know, right? Danielle did it.
Look, I come in and I bring my bleep me energy.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Before we really roll into this, I've looked up the name 3 times on my phone. Joseph Noonan suggested this topic.
Okay.
Via email. I just wanted it out there. Thank you, Joseph.
Have we started?
We're starting. This is it. Now we're in it.
Okay, now we're in it.
I think they recorded all of it. And
Was that all
Everything's
recorded?
been recorded.
Blooper.
We were very, very dirty for about 5 minutes, and I hope that the listening audience did not hear
Our
that.
fans know who I am.
They won't hear it. That's right.
Why were we so dirty for 5 minutes, Hal?
Because we have a special guest, one of the founding members of the Nation Conversation, along with myself, Miss Danielle Radford.
Hello,
Hi,
Danielle
Danielle.
Radford. I am also
brilliant-
a verse, and that was a conversation y'all missed.
Yeah. Look it up. Look it up.
It is so good to have you here,
It
Danielle.
is so nice to have you. I ran into you in the elevator, and I was like, I'm having a day. It's fine. Y'all know I share too much. It's okay. No, I'm fine. I'm me. I'll strap it together. I'm adorable. I'm great.
Yes.
I have a new dress. I look amazing.
You
My
do.
wig needs some work, but we're good.
I thought your wig looked good.
Oh,
when you
you
came
always
in.
think my wig
I was like,
looked
the
good.
wig looks good.
Because
but
you
I also
don't know any better.
I don't know any better. You've had to explain so many things to me. But I still don't. The science of it eludes me. I'm afraid that it involves like a sewing machine because I know that
it doesn't.
Yeah.
But I mean, your wife will explain it anyway. So
She
yeah,
will?
we met. We met in the elevator, and it was like
I felt like the other wife showing up and seeing Hal's other work
me and
wife
Lindsay, man.
showing up at the office. I'm like, oh, wait. Who are these women, Hal?
now which one of you
Who
would
is she? Who is she?
Who is she?
Why do you like all of her Instagram photos?
I am standing out here in the rain with a boombox over my head.
Oh, see, in my brain, you're just waiting to exhale Z. Like you burned all of Hal's possessions. Half of this studio has been ripped down.
Oh yeah. And Jesse is not happy about this because we are at Max Fun today.
Yeah.
This is a lovely studio with a new clock. I haven't seen the clock.
It's so nice.
Yeah, I even
nice.
asked, I was like, where does everyone sit? And you guys were like, it doesn't matter. And I was like, in tight fights matter.
Yeah. You and I are in our position. See, I can see the window, so I can see Julian, who's
And
on the
I can
board
see
for
the
us.
window, so I can see Julian
Yeah.
disapproving of me and me having no way to fix it.
I have my back to Julian because if he is disapproving of me, I don't want to know.
You don't want to know.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
perfect.
You want to know. That guy's yoked. He'll rip you in half.
That's right.
I've seen him do it. I've seen him do it to someone before, and it was for fun. But we're here to talk about somebody else who could rip somebody in half.
Who's that?
Batman.
Ooh, the Batman.
Ooh, segue.
So, we're going to be dealing, just to set the ground rules, we're going to talk about Batman films that have been theatrically released. This is Best Batman Movie. And there are a ton of, there's like Son of Batman and Batman and Harley Quinn, a ton of great animated,
Right.
Warner Brothers kills it in animated, in their animated
I'll tell you this, as far as the animated ones go, I did not know that this movie existed, but I was thumbing through the channels one day and I was like, just looking for something to watch. And the perfect name for a movie appeared that made me go, well, clearly that's the movie I'm going to watch, which was Batman versus Dracula.
Uh-huh.
And I was like,
I mean-
well, how do you not, if you've never heard of it before and you come across something called Batman versus Dracula, you watch it. And that's the one where the Joker becomes a werewolf.
See, these are the things that they don't count, but these are the weird things
I know.
that
I love that. I love the weird off, like slight one-offs where you're like, is Is it canon that Joker became a werewolf at
How
one
do the
point?
Three Stooges never hang out with Batman? Look, they have hung out with the Mummy?
Yeah.
They hung out with Dracula?
Yeah.
How have they never hung out with Batman or the Hulk?
I don't
What
know.
is happening?
I don't know if their worlds would quite match because
never do.
Batman can really, really hurt a person, and the Hulk can really, really hurt a person. And the Three Stooges live in a world where even if you take a mallet to the head at full swing, you're not going to get hurt for longer than 5 seconds. Yeah, you're just going to go, and then you're going to be back in it.
You have Alfred come in and say, I've hired 3 window washers, sir. And they find the Batcave by mistake. They're throwing batarangs in Curly's butt. The whole thing. Anyway.
God, I want that movie now.
Yeah. The Three Stooges meet Batman.
No, we have to talk about the thing.
We have to talk about the thing.
Batman.
But we narrow the scope a little bit more when we talk just theatrically released. But Danielle, you picked this topic.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Out of many topics.
Out of many topics.
How gives you that list that's got 300 topics?
Tell us some of the other ones.
I'm going to read the other ones that I didn't do. French fry cuts.
Yes.
Video game console. Cheesecake versus Chicago beef. Artificial fruit flavor. Breed of dog. Cheese. Cookie shape. Domestic airline. Mac and cheese. I posted in all caps. Big ideas about this.
Here's one thing I love. A, your list is wonderful.
Yeah.
And B, I sometimes a slight misreading of a thing makes for an even better topic.
Oh no.
Because in the Italian beef versus cheesesteak is one great episode. But what you just said that I would love to see is Italian beef versus cheesecake. Which that would be 2 non sequiturs put together that you could in theory just have both of them.
Yeah.
Savory versus sweet.
Right. Are you savory or sweet more often?
Savory.
Yeah. When you go to the vending machine,
I'm a savory.
I'm a savory too. I'm with you.
Handicap cheddar fries from the vending machine versus a Hostess Twinkie.
I like
those two
spice,
things?
man.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I bake.
Mm-hmm.
Like I bake more than I cook, but it's mostly because I'm like, I respect savory too much
Mm-hmm.
and I know that I will mess it up.
Do you say you don't savory bake? You don't do like the
Oh no, I sweet
salt
bake.
and garlic focaccia kind of things. Oh, sweet bake.
Who
All
has
right.
time? I don't have time to proof. I sweet
sure.
bake.
So you don't do the yeast based things.
Who has time?
Yeah, it takes a while.
Your friend Danielle is a chemical leavener. I don't know if I can be in the same room with her.
Look,
Well-
I'm the worst. We've already established this.
These are the 2 sides of how Loveland playing out. For all of you to listen. Really, this is about me, guys.
Yeah.
And what I think about Batman and how I feel.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing it back to the actual topic. I
Talk about
appreciate
Batman a little
Hal's
bit.
going to keep doing
about, like, what do you love about Batman? What's your Batman deal?
Well, I mean, I know that I have to wake up from my dream world where Batman actually murders people.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Or read the old comics.
Yeah, but so the things that I love about Batman are sometimes divorced from the things I love about a Batman movie.
Okay.
What I love about Batman is I do love, they parodied it, but I do love the darkness. No parents. I love that.
Yeah.
It's the dark story, that background.
Yeah, I also appreciate he has the best rogues gallery in comics history.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic rogues gallery. And frightening. Easily the most frightening as well.
And frightening. And also, he has had, and I'm sorry if this is getting into the topic, he has had obviously an amazing 3-movie Nolan-y run of what would Batman do in the real world? And then a terrible Zack Snyder run of what would Batman do in the real world?
I like that's the difference, is that Zack Snyder asks it like it's all about Zack Snyder being awesome.
Wake up from your dream world. He literally said, oh, it's like your heroes don't embezzle. What the F was Superman embezzling?
Yeah.
From what company? From a newspaper?
Wait. In what movie
Newspapers don't have money.
In what scene did he say that Superman was embezzling?
Oh no, it was during this last weekend.
Yeah, like
or
a panel or interview or something?
Yeah, he was doing ZachCon because...
I'm sorry, what?
I think that's what his fans called it, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he called it that, but he did a run where he was like, well, I'm going to do the director cut of the
Justice League.
League
Yeah.
he did, the Dawn of the Dead he did, and Watchmen, which I will say,
I loved Watchmen.
I like Watchmen,
Yeah.
especially the director's cut. I think it makes it a more complete film.
Mm-hmm.
But he's the right person for that. And and I talked about this a lot. If you like me and you know me from Screen Junkies, you've already heard this rant, but I'm going to say it again.
Right.
I am a huge fan of the deconstructionalist period of comics that happened in the 80s/90s, right?
Okay.
But that happened and it worked because at that point we'd already had like 80 years of comics.
Right.
You must first construct the thing before you can deconstruct the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And Zach is very much darkness, no parents. And that's his whole, and that's fine. That is his deal. And when you hire someone who has a very nihilistic view of things, let's be really real. Dude wants to adapt the Fountainhead.
Does he really?
Oh my
Oh
dude.
no.
Oh, okay.
But only if Judge John Hodgman's Ayn Rand
Yeah.
is somehow involved.
That's the only way it can be accepted.
Like he is, libertarian Zack Snyder. Allegedly. And that's where he comes from. And that's a point of view. But, I don't blame him because that's what he does. And that's his point of view. If you are WB, if you are Warner Brothers, and Lord knows they have enough trouble right now.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it's one thing if your movies are bad, but when the dude that was supposed to save your movies is it's fine. So.
Was Zack Snyder supposed to be the savior of their movies with, Batman, Superman?
Well,
and
he was
Justice
gonna do the core of it.
Right.
That was his whole deal, was that like they were trying to do their version of an MCU.
Yeah, just get Patty Hawkins to do all of them. Is that Patty Hawkins, is it? Or Jenkins? What is her name?
Patty Jenkins. Yeah.
Well, and they didn't know, and so they went with someone who was established.
Yeah.
When you're building the core of a universe, and with DC, they were very much cart before the horse.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that worked about Marvel was they started with a character that didn't nobody give a about.
Right.
And I love Marvel. I'm a comic book reader, watcher, lover. Did nobody care about Iron Man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very low stakes, and they were able to take that seed and build on it. DC has the most marketable heroes in history.
Yeah. All of the icons from when I was a kid, except for Spider-Man, are DC properties.
Right.
Like Hulk was, they were big comic book characters.
Ancillary.
Yeah, but Thor was not Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
I can't cite it, and maybe I'm wrong, and you'll let us know in the comments. They did a study that showed that there are maybe sometimes more people that know about Superman than Jesus.
Oh, wow.
Jesus.
Then why aren't there more churches with the great big S shield instead of a cross?
It stands for hope.
That's right.
Wait, now was that a Zack Snyder invention?
Yes.
Was it always supposed to just be Superman?
It was the family crest.
It was the
family crest of
for the Supermans.
Of the L's.
Of the L's.
The L family.
Let me ask you this about Zack, since we're talking about the Zack Snyder Superman movies or Batman movies.
And I apologize because I'm terrible at staying on topic.
Oh no, that's fine. No, but that's what we're here for. We're talking
just
about
so that
Batman
nobody
movies.
gets mad at you guys. I think it was Mark Waid who did the whole S stands for hope thing.
Thank you very much. You are right.
It was
and
a great
also,
great
I am
Daredevil
sad
writer as
and I
well.
don't care. I think it happened in the was it the Nail?
That I couldn't tell you. I just know Mark Waid.
That we may never know.
His arms are too buff to box with Superman.
But that's what his movies felt like to me, and his movies generally feel like this. Maybe it's the libertarian bent, I don't care, like this is just what I like, I'm going to do what I like, and you do what you like, I'll do what I like, and hopefully those will cross over.
Yeah.
But like in everything, it seems like the Amazons in Justice League.
Oh,
It's like, this is what the Amazons look like. Nope, get rid of all that armor. I want to see their midriffs.
Yeah.
give
okay.
me that sweet midriff. No,
Yeah, but he did it
Zach.
for the 300 too. He was all abs for that.
Bunch
It's
of
like,
naked
He's,
people.
he's
Yeah.
done it all for the nookie, you guys.
everything he does seems like it's designed not for storytelling and
Yeah.
realism, but just for, hey, what would be, which I appreciate and I respect, is what would be fun to watch in a movie.
He loves
Batman
aesthetic.
versus Superman. Okay, well, how do we make that fight fair? I don't know, put Batman in an Iron Man suit. All right, so Batman, Iron Man versus Superman. Like, he just does insane
That is
things.
directly from the comics. He does
That
put
is
on a
directly from the
suit,
comic.
to try and fight Superman, and ultimately uses kryptonite.
But
He's aware of that.
You
But it's
heard about the thing that he wanted, the Martha thing, right?
No, he wanted Martha Stewart to be the Batman in this most recent movie.
I would watch that. His original idea was that when they say, Martha, why did you say that name? After Martha Kent and Kent
Martha Wayne. Oh,
Martha
Jonathan
Wayne
Kent.
and Jonathan were straight up murdered.
Mm-hmm.
Martha was not straight up
Oh, Wayne.
murdered.
The Waynes were murdered.
Yeah, the Waynes.
Yeah.
Martha was not straight up murdered.
Oh.
She went into witness protection program
Wait, what?
in Smallville.
Mrs. Oh, wait.
Oh,
We're talking about,
No.
are we talking about
This is
Superman
what he
Martha?
wanted. This is what he wanted.
No.
And then
No.
she met someone. Fell
He wanted
in love.
he wanted it to be the same Martha?
They were his same mothers.
Oh, Zach.
No. All right. Here's what I want to do. Let me
Okay.
suggest this.
I'm the worst. I'm sorry.
No. It is not you at all. It is these movies. I suggest we go, we start with the original Batman on screen and move forward in time.
The Watusi Batman movie.
Great.
We're going to go earlier than that. Slightly earlier.
Ooh.
And then what we'll do is we'll talk about them and then say, is this a contender? And
Great.
then hopefully we'll wind up with 2 to 3.
Well, since we've already
that'll
done
be our
it,
fun.
why don't we start here? The Zack Snyder, Ben Affleck Batman.
I'm good.
Are any of those a contender?
No.
Is that a
okay.
way to?
I don't hate them. I
I'm
know it
good.
sounds like Danielle is not a fan
Danielle's
of
good.
these.
No, they're not. Look, they're
fun. For me, as a pedestrian comic book, every once in a while reader and a movie viewer, I'm like, I watch Batman versus Superman, or Justice League. And in the opposite way that I feel about the Marvel movies, I watch those and I was like, well, that was fun. Unimportant, but fun. I'm going to go do something else.
Yeah, people love them.
Like, I enjoy watching them. They're good popcorn movies. Sure, I'll watch Superman and Batman fight.
Yeah.
Just in the same way of course I'll watch Dracula versus Batman.
Which Batman and Superman fighting is a thing in the comics.
Yeah.
No, it's fine. And trust me, I have people in my mentions literally all day, every day, and sending me weird, threatening messages about how my feelings of snack cider.
good
Well,
old
your
Snack
feelings
Zider.
are valid and those people
I like
are
that
jerks.
name better.
Snack
Hi, I'm
cider.
Snack Zider. This is my
Ooh.
YouTube channel where I
Do you
eat
think
licorice.
Snack Zider is a sweets or a savory guy?
Sweets.
Oh, he's definitely
Love
sweet.
sweets.
Yeah.
And he
Love
loves
sweets.
ASMR. Hey guys, welcome back to Zach's
Snack Zider's
channel.
ASMR.
Today I'm going to eat a box of thumbtacks. Ow. 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 I had a contentious argument with my father. I think this was last year. We were on our way back to LA from Comic-Con.
Mhm.
We stopped for dinner and I was talking to him about how disappointed I was, I think, in Justice League. There are things I can pull from that I like. I like Superman after he becomes actual Superman.
Mhm.
I like that version of Superman. I didn't hate Ezra Miller as the Flash.
No.
Although I disliked
Runs
his,
weird. It's fine.
I disliked his lack of
I run
confidence. Like the Flash is all about, like he's got a lot of ego
Yeah.
because he's the fastest man on earth.
I would too.
But we were talking about, like, my dad will like any comic book movie because when he was growing up, there were no comic book movies. He had a little bit of the Superman television show, Batman TV show, but largely he's more aware of how grateful he is to be in an era where all these things are being made.
Mhm.
And mine is, we've seen it done well.
You're
Marvel has mastered a way of adapting their
On
existing
accident.
stories on accident. Yeah, the crazy way that it all came together and how the rights reverted, but they have a plan and they make individual movies that have different feels to them. And it creates a mosaic and a whole picture the further you get away, but you can enjoy movies on their individual merit.
Mhm.
And DC has failed. I mean, I think I've said this before. I think that the Christopher Nolan Batman movies are the biggest mistake Warner Brothers ever made. And I like those.
We're going to get to that. I hard disagree.
I'll tell you why when we get there.
I'm not like a big Nolan person because there are Nolan fans, but
I like his movies and I like those movies very much. We'll talk more about that.
Sure.
When
once
we get to
once this episode becomes about Batman and not about how much better Marvel is than DC.
Right, but your idea of like, I want to watch Batman and Superman fight. Like when you're like, I want to watch Batman and Superman fight.
Right.
That's, to me, is not enough because I know that they're capable of doing a lot more with those characters and remain true to them while still finding a way to adapt them and make them feel fresh.
Yeah, it feels like the Marvel movies are a delicious, nourishing bread. Yeah. And the DC movies are like, oh, you guys like cake? Okay, here's a cake. Oh, you like icing? Okay, here's a cake that's mostly icing.
Yeah.
So you're like,
oh my God, that's literally, that's so weird, but that's literally one of the things that someone said on the SJU that I did where they said like Zack Snyder is all icing, no cake.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, look, now it's been said twice, which means it's official DC canon.
That's right. Canon!
Yeah, let's talk about these Batman movies.
Before we even get into it, what do we think makes a good Batman movie?
Oh, sorry, you were talking about arguing with your dad.
Yeah. Oh no, but that was the argument, is that it can be done better. Let's not settle just because Batman's on screen, be happy about it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's get the best version of that. And I think that's what we're looking for here. What is the movie that best personifies a Batman? Because Batman's changed so much. He's 80. This is his 80th anniversary. We're happy 80th birthday, Batman.
And they're releasing bats.
They're releasing bats?
Under a bridge in Austin. They do it every day for Batman's birthday.
Apparently like these bats migrate every year. And
we have bats in LA right now?
In Austin. And
yeah.
Normally they just migrate, but now DC was like, oh, it's for Batman.
I thought they were going to try to route them into rich people's homes to see if they could create a real Batman. I bet you one of these kids is going through some stuff. We can make a Batman.
Find a sad kid.
Here's the thing about Batman that I love, that I think is something to look at in our choosing of the best Batman movie. One thing that I like about him is that this character, because it's so rich and there's so many details that are in the canon and, ways that the stories can go, based on who the character is that is embodying Batman. I think it's a great palette for different styles, of filmmaker to come in and, or artist, with the Dark Knight series back in the day, for the books to change and, like you mentioned, deconstructing in the 80s.
Yes.
And this Batman is one of those things that's perfect for a Tim Burton to go, I'm going to do my version of Batman, or a Christopher Nolan to go, I'm going to do my version of Batman, which is why, to me,
or Snack Zider,
good old
to
Snacks.
go, let me do my version of Batman. For me, I err on the side of a Tim Burton vision of Batman and a Christopher Nolan vision of Batman.
All right, are we going to run these down movie by movie?
Yeah, we're going to start.
I have so many opinions.
Let's do it.
So the very first Batman on film in theaters was a serial from the 30s, where it looks like Batman is wearing a costume. It looks like somebody went to their mom and said, "Can you make a Batman costume?" And she's like, "I think I have the idea."
Yeah.
Like when your mom it was
the same with the Superman, where it was like, oh, this is just a shirt tucked in.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And floppy ears. It was like,
Batman had he looked like the kid from A Christmas Story.
Yeah. He looked like Batmite. Batmite has to be based on that version of Batman.
Batmite's really cool, you guys. You should look it up, but I know you don't know it.
Yeah.
What is Batmite?
He's like a little trickster.
Yeah.
He's like a little trickster that looks like he's like Batman's Mxyzptlk.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a
we're both doing this thing with
I know.
our hands that no one can see, and it's incredibly compelling.
And you're both looking at me like, ugh,
one of the ears is floppy. One of his bat ears is floppy.
Sure.
Julian, do you want to get a picture of this?
Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, they just cut Oswald's ears off and made him Mickey.
He's a little imp. He's a little trickster imp.
Yeah, this is the point where Julian just like grabs the mic and goes, no.
All right, so it's that one, asked and answered, People of the World.
No,
okay.
It's not that one. But it's notable the first time he was on screen. Yeah. Now let's jump forward. I think that was the 40s actually. Yeah. Superman was in the 30s. 1941. I had it on VHS and I watched it. I was so excited, and then I saw it, and then I was less excited.
Yeah. Not the same.
Batman ! 1966.
Yes, and that is the one that was like a movie that was based in the TV.
Right.
Bam,
Was that a TV movie or that was theatrically released?
Theatrically
TV
released.
movie, I thought
it was theatrically released.
Was it?
I think it was.
Yikes.
Pretty sure it made it to the theaters. Yeah.
I love it.
I do
It's
too.
not.
It's great.
I mean, and it is. That's another one of those like someone's vision of what Batman is, and in that case, it was 1960s television's version of what Batman is.
I could be completely wrong. I believe this was the one where there was the bat shark repellent.
Bat spray.
He came up.
Yeah.
He was like in the ocean and he goes up a helicopter like that. It's very classically a lot of those kind of Batman 60s tropes came from that movie.
Running with a bomb.
Or that we think of.
He runs
running
with the
bomb.
like,
Specifically, the shark repellent bat spray is one of my favorite moments in the movie because he yells up, there's a shark biting his foot and he yells up, "Robin, bring me the shark repellent bat spray." And then Robin goes over to a wall of assorted repellent bat sprays and is like, dolphin, a turtle, shark, and grabs the shark one. Like they had to have multiple sprays.
Burt Ward, as we learned in his book, is trash. But as a kid, Burt Ward could have got it.
He was good looking.
He was one of the things when I was like a child and I didn't recognize what sexuality was. It was like him and like Linda Carter, Xena, like a bunch of people where I was like, I want to put my face on your face. And Burt Ward was one of the ones. Put my face on
Linda Carter was my jam when I was a kid.
Oh my, okay.
Yeah.
She made me realize a lot of things later.
Yep. She's a gateway drug for sure. I think it does sort of capture the Silver Age Batman, which is a lot more. Silver Age DC is like everybody has a kid sidekick. Robin, of course, was first in 1940.
And that is why, in The Seduction of the Innocent, when it's a huge book. Oh my God, I'm not going to get too into this because I could talk about this for days. I have a whole thing, 2 things I can talk about: the deconstructionalist period of comics and the comics code. So this dude who sucks made a book called Seduction of the Innocent that was all about how comic books were leading our children down to the path of ruin.
Right.
And one of them was Robin's hot pants. I'm done for now.
Really?
Yep.
Well, I will say this about the comics code. It led to, the one good thing to come out of the code was, William Gaines and Tales from the Crypt and all of those. Nope. I'm not going to do this. I could do this for 5 minutes. William Gaines was originally, they had all of these horror comics that everyone loved. And then after the code, which was based on the Hays Code, which was the one about movies. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm literally having a seizure.
Don't have a seizure. This is all interesting and great stuff.
It's great.
So after it was based on like the code that was adopted for movies, self-adopted, or I think that was one with Congress. And so for comics, they were like, we're going to do it ourselves. And William Gaines and EC were like the biggest publisher at the time because they did horror comics and people loved them. Covers where it's just a severed head or disembodied whatevers. All of the other comics companies got together and said, well, here are the things we will not allow. And guess what they all were? The stuff that EC did. And so they used the code to censor EC and get rid of their competition. And then EC, parts of it became DC Comics, parts of it became Mad Magazine.
Yes.
Right.
And that's how we got to that. And that's a really abridged, dumbed down version of this thing that I love way too much.
It was a good summary. It was a good top line.
Yeah.
I condense. If y'all know me, you know I'm bad at condensing, but I tried my hardest.
But so this movie is
you are trying so hard.
Well, no.
You are trying so hard to keep
Well,
this
no,
on
what a
topic.
type I kid, because this is definitely the height of like, all the comics are wholesome and nothing terrible happens to anybody. And the TV is certainly a camped out version of that. But it also, like, you don't get the sense that Batman is the greatest detective mind in the comics of that era.
No.
And in this film, he is fooled by Catwoman not wearing her little robber mask and playing a Russian named Miss Kitka. Like, all the clues are, the Riddler isn't even that obvious. Even he's like, tone it down. Maybe make it a little bit of like a limerick or something.
Calm down, lady.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Cesar Romero still has his mustache underneath his makeup.
He refuses to shave it. And they also dehydrate the United Nations into piles of powder.
The dehydrations are fantastic.
Get ready for our future, my guys.
Right?
Yeah. And then when they're reconstituted, aren't they each speaking the wrong language because the dust got mixed up?
It's something like that.
Is this a finalist? Is it possible this is a finalist?
Yeah. I mean, come on.
No.
You'd think that if all the water got sucked out of a person and they got dehydrated, they wouldn't turn into powder, they would turn into person jerky.
Yeah.
The California raisins.
Yeah. Ooh, I bet you wonder how I knew.
I wish they turned into the California raisins.
I would watch that. Oh my God, with little Batman ears.
With little Batmite ears.
Yes.
One down.
All right.
So for me, like, I love it. I think it's really campy. It was my introduction to Batman, like many youngins. But Batman, he has to detect. He's supposed to be the world's greatest detective who wears a weird suit for no good reason.
But don't you feel like it's still representative of that era? Like it's not
of that era, sure.
It's not like it was the 1970s
but that era
and
was
80s.
Trash.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're not a fan of the era?
Silver Age and Golden Age are a whole thing that I don't have time to get into.
Sure.
All right, so then we jump forward.
Let's jump forward. All right, not a finalist.
Silver Age is also where Lois was turned into a black woman. We don't have time.
Fair enough.
Oh man, I want to hear that whole episode now of this show.
This is a separate episode. We'll have to do another one.
Silver Age was crazy. Superman was a dick. We don't have time.
Well, Superman, after his successful run of films into one of the worst superhero movies ever made, The Quest for Peace. We all thought superhero movies were dead.
Which one was Quest for Peace? Was that the one with Richard?
That was the
Pryor?
one where no, that was 3. This is the
that
one.
Was great.
This is the one with John Cryer, who is now Lex Luthor.
I know.
Hey,
so
full
good.
circle. He went from being
CW
the nephew.
does a really good job of bringing these old folks back and
Yeah.
old. Oh, that's condescending. But bringing these older incarnations of things. I saved it back into the CW.
Yes,
I like
starring old folks.
What a retirement home over there.
Look, Dean Cain is old, and we're fine.
We don't need him anymore. We're good.
Yeah.
Anyway, 1989 along comes for people who were starved for Batman to be on screen, like I was.
Mm-hmm.
Along comes Tim Burton's 1989 Batman,
Big contender.
which is dark and brooding, and stars Michael Keaton as Batman, who I liked as Bruce Wayne, did not like as Batman.
I like him as Batman. We will talk about this next movie.
Oh,
Do you prefer Batman
has
Returns?
Guns. Batman doesn't shoot a gun.
Wait, when does Batman have a gun?
Entire deal. The bat plane or copter or whatever.
Oh, it does have guns. He does shoot.
Batman shoots dudes. That's like his whole thing is don't shoot.
Wait,
dudes.
I thought the only thing that the guns did was like blow the Batmobile blow the door so that he could get through.
He does not like guns. That's Batman's whole deal. It's like Buffy. Buffy doesn't like guns. She's always like they cause nothing but chaos. His parents were killed by a gun. Batman hates guns.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, early
like hardcore.
Yeah, because he carried a gun for a while. Yeah, he had a gun, but that's not.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a Tommy gun like back in the day. Like,
but that's not what this was based on. It's not like he was going, "This is the version of Batman I'm going to make."
The version where Bill Finger did. We don't have time.
Yeah, I like Tim Burton a lot.
I do.
There are movies of his that I think are great. Movies of his that I think are parody, or like how you would parody a Tim Burton film.
And if you really like Tim Burton, go check out our Honest trailer, which is every Tim Burton movie. Okay, bye.
There you go. Yeah, check out you're writing these Honest trailers now. That you're
that's
you're writing Honest trailers. I really like Honest trailers.
Oh, thank you. I work for them.
That's a very very fun thing.
It's been good.
My biggest problem with this movie is the origin of the Joker, because I don't want to know the origin of the Joker.
No,
you shouldn't know. And making him the guy who killed Batman's parents makes it too. So when he kills the Joker at the end of the film, which he does, which is against his ethos. Then,
well, I mean, yes, it's against his ethos.
It's not like he allows him to die.
Straight up kill him. Right?
He could have saved him. The Dark Knight 2008.
Right,
I will say this in that movie's defense. I want to take a lifeboat off of the SS Pedantica and get to.
Oh, I love the SS Pedantica.
So good.
And get to that. It's just a beautiful movie, and Tim Burton's vision for what Gotham City is, I really, really love.
We have time. I'm gonna get into that next movie.
Well, do you think this is a finalist?
Mark? I did.
It's a contender.
Mark, if you want to pull like a contender, if you want to pull the 1989 Batman, that is fine.
Honestly, of the two Tim Burton Batmans, I think I actually prefer Batman Returns.
There we go.
I think that is a better
movie.
I think Batman Returns is a superior movie.
It's a better movie.
I like Oswald Cobblepot's
Women
backstory.
have agency.
That part I do like. And that is I wish make that the Catwoman movie instead of Halle Berry's Catwoman movie.
My Oma.
Although Janet Varney's in that movie.
I know. My Oma loves the Catwoman movie. She's German and broken. No, just not broken. She's great. No one that I know, my family doesn't listen to any of the that I do. My Oma really loves the Halle Berry Catwoman movie.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it is not part of this. It's not, we don't have to go into it.
God.
It's not Batman.
Ugh, my white grandma would be so mad. Hashtag white grandma.
Hashtag white grandma.
Isn't your movie White Grandma coming out in theaters?
Yeah. It's the one where I play my Oma, who's just like, was is, he's bad.
I don't know if we have to bleep that or not.
Why is Batman Returns better than, my problem, I hate the Penguin in that movie.
Oh, see that?
I love the actual Penguin.
I love Danny DeVito's version of the Penguin.
Look,
I think it's fun. It's cool.
He's great, but the story, I hate the story of it.
Sometimes there are things that do not work in comics that don't necessarily work in film. Mm-hmm. Now I think we could get that subtle, Penguin that's like, I'm a mob boss, but also my face ain't good. We could get that now, but back in the day we couldn't get that. And so I do give, both I give concessions to what was happening during the time, and a lot of leeway. And it certainly sunk into Burtonisms. It is way more than the first Batman. Mm-hmm. It is a Burton Batman.
Yeah.
Is Edward Scissorhands as Batman?
I loved it. I think
I love Catwoman.
I think that the Catwoman storyline is great.
Yep.
In that, for me, the thing about the Penguin in that is I'm much more interested in a rounded character, because this version of the Penguin is a wealthy but misfigured, abused person who has come from that, as opposed to the other versions I've seen of the Penguin, which is, he's just a rich jerk.
Yeah, he kind of sucks, and he has like henchmen and his whole
why is he like this? Just because he's rich and he can and he's a jerk?
I mean, to be fair, capitalism sucks. At me in the comments, sure. I don't care. But but I am not as interested in mob boss capitalist Penguin as I am, your parents abandoned you and then you went to the circus?
Like your life is weird and dark, but you have all this family money, so you've decided to use it for this weird revenge fantasy.
Well, and to be fair, he didn't get to really keep any of his money. He's leaning on all of his other outcast I mean, that's why it's so Tim Burton.
Yeah, everybody needs a Vincent Schiavelli in a sewer.
Mm-hmm. Sewer folk.
I think why I'm biased against this movie is around that time I was like, I'm going to read more about the Penguin. Because I like the Penguin. Mm-hmm. And there is a version of his origin story where instead of being abandoned by his parents, I think his father was out of the picture, but his mother was like a helicopter mother. Mm-hmm. So the reason why he carries umbrellas is she always made him carry one all the time to protect him. And he was bullied and tortured as a kid.
And that is true. Absolutely.
And then he went away, learned how to fight, and came back. His childhood trauma turned him into a villain. And then he became, I'm going to go torture and kill everybody who ever bullied me. And then with that came a power and an abuse of power. And the umbrellas became the reason why he dresses the way he does. It's all because of his mother
but
and her influence.
But I believe that didn't happen until well after, that
may have been after,
was after, if I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong.
You're probably right.
I believe that backstory happened after Batman Returns.
Maybe
and that was the first one that really gave him the backstory beyond, hey, I'm really good at being a criminal and I look weird.
Yeah.
So
look at my monocle.
And
look at my monocle.
And if we can move on to
miss the monocle.
To the other villain of that movie, arguably the other villain of that movie.
Maximilian.
Well, I wasn't gonna Max is amazing. I was gonna say the other of the Rogues Gallery, Catwoman. We haven't talked much about Catwoman in this movie.
She's an anti-hero.
She's not she's an anti-hero, not a villain. Oh my God. I'm getting destroyed by two comic book people.
I'm so sorry. I'm well actualing you, and I hate myself right now.
She's not
at all.
She's not. It's a great performance. And I love the story. I'm a bigger fan of Anne Hathaway's Catwoman just because she is a woman with agency who's also a thief and out for herself.
And that's always been Catwoman's thing. And this was established before Batman Returns was, hey, I'm like a sex worker. And then I realized that the easiest way to get in these pockets is to steal stuff from people. Mm-hmm. Catwoman was the original Cardi B. If only she knew how to rap.
We don't know that she can't.
Yeah.
We know that she can.
We assume that she, it seems like she can. Yeah.
She would have wrapped her way up out that not marriage. Anyway.
So is this movie a contender? I'm realizing now we're 45 minutes in and have talked about two of the movies.
This is my number one movie.
This, I love. Batman Returns is going to be tough to beat, but Christopher Nolan might be able to do it. I'll tell you who's not going to do it, is Joel Schumacher.
Batman Forever. When I saw that movie, I came home to my dad. I was like, Dad, they finally did it. They made a Batman movie that captures, because it felt more Silver Age to me, and the Tim Burton's
Age is stupid.
The Tim Burton's didn't feel like anything to me. They felt like I'm just gonna make a Batman movie, and I don't need to borrow from anything that actually exists. Like, thanks for the drawings.
Yep.
And now I'm going to make a movie out of what I think these characters are.
Bob caned the Bill Fingers of the Batman movies.
Right.
You're not wrong.
So, that was a problem for me. I thought that the original Joel Schumacher was a little bit more restrained. I will not defend this movie at all. Mm-hmm. It does not hold up. It didn't hold up then.
I will.
You will?
Joel Schumacher knows exactly what movies he was making.
Yeah.
Both the first one and the second one.
Right.
Because of the giant audience and that you have to appeal to literally 300 million people or a billion in the world.
And they were trying to stylistically do something that was at least as big as Tim Burton, if not as good as Tim Burton.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And they picked someone who could do that, and he chose neon lights.
Yes, he did.
It's not great.
Yeah.
But it is awesome.
I don't hate it. I don't hate those movies. I enjoy, like I'm a popcorn movie, like comic book movies. I'm like, they're comic book movies.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be big and colorful. That's why I go see a comic book movie.
Nipples on the batsuit.
The nipples on the batsuit eliminate it.
What I saw.
Can I tell you a quick story?
It's awesome.
I went to go see. So, for those who don't know, that he put nipples on the batsuit.
He did.
This was Joel Schumacher, who also directed Phantom of the Opera. And I was at the movie theater.
An 8mm.
Woof!
Really?
I saw that when I was working. Of course, as most people did, my first job was at a movie theater when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. And I saw 8mm, like one of the things you do.
It's a rough movie to see as a little kid.
Oh, yeah.
Or I guess teenager.
Well, like 15, 16. One of the things you would do, because the only free food that we got was popcorn, cheese sauce, and hot dog buns if they were going stale.
Ooh.
And so what you would do is you would take the hot dog bun, put cheese sauce in it, fill it with popcorn. And so
that is a delicious, weird snack.
Everyone did it. And so you would then go and watch movies half an hour at a time. I watched 8mm, which is terrifying, especially the first, 20 minutes, 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Half an hour at a time.
Ugh.
Oof.
And also we would try to warn parents when they would bring their kids and we'd be like, look, we know this is rated R, but this is like rated RR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that is a hard R.
That's a hard R. And they would say, don't tell me what to do with my kids. And then they would come out 15 minutes later with a crying child. Okay.
I was in a movie theater and the trailer for Phantom of the Opera came on.
Yeah.
And at the end of the trailer, there's one long note and a very quiet moment. And someone in the audience yelled, "Oh my God, he put nipples on the mask." Which I thought was very funny.
When I went to see Batman and Robin, and they got to the part where they're at the auction bidding for Poison Ivy, and Batman pulled out his American Express card with the bat symbol on it, said, "Don't leave home without it." Mm-hmm. Somebody to the front right of me stood up and went, "I'm out of here," and then walked out of the movie. That was all you could hear because nobody was reacting to that. Both of those movies are hot trash.
Oh, I love them. They are hot trash.
They're good. You can enjoy them, but they're let's not pretend like this is the Nolan era Batman.
Again,
right.
They're not good, but they're awesome. Also,
Exactly.
I guess I admitted my age in this. Still cast me as high schoolers, guys.
Yeah.
I still look amazing.
18 to look younger. 18 to
You
look
do
younger.
look 18 to look younger. If I saw that on a thing, I'd be like, bring Danielle in.
Yeah.
I've tried to audition for people my age and everyone's like, it doesn't track. And I'm like, well, then who can I be?
Yeah.
So Batman disappears for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 2005, we get Christopher Nolan's take in Batman Begins.
I liked Batman Begins. I wasn't as crazy about it as everyone was. I really liked it. And I liked the stripped down version of Batman. I liked the grounding of Batman. I liked the, hey, what if this, to quote Mark, what if this was like, how do I punch people in the name of my parents?
Yeah.
And then he did. So I did appreciate it. I wasn't as gaga over Batman Begins as a lot of people were.
I liked it for the exact same reasons. I thought Batman Begins is a blast. It's a cool thing to bring it into this real world. I think that was the warm up round for the magic that was The Dark Knight. I thought The Dark Knight was a perfect movie.
It was an amuse-bouche.
Right down to the Joker was incredible. Won an Academy Award for that portrayal of the Joker.
Yeah.
I thought every bit of the script was perfectly in line with who these characters are.
Yes.
With the Joker just being, why would you do this? Why not? Is essentially his, vibe for the whole thing.
I mean, it killed a man. It was so good it killed a man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Batman Begins. I like a lot.
Danielle.
I was trying to think, was there a new story? Oh, right. Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
Rest his soul.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
Batman Begins is great, but it had a villain problem.
Ra's al Ghul, not great.
Ra's al Ghul. I
think that twist was done better in Iron Man 3, and I know.
Yeah.
But I think it was done better if you're going to do that thing where you take that weird, back in the day, we would say Orientalist villain. That's the way to deal with how terrible and problematic that was. I think Iron Man did a better job than Batman Begins.
I agree. The Sandman was great. Cillian Murphy as Jonathan Crane. I really like that.
Yes.
So it had it felt like,
Sandman.
Scarecrow.
This is an original, this is, not an original story. It's an adaptation, but he nailed it where he needed to nail it.
Yeah.
The Dark Knight I love. I saw it in the theater, 5 times.
Oh gosh, I paid cash money to see that movie.
They got a lot of money.
6 or 7 times in the theater.
And then it does get longer over time. The more I watch it, but I think that's true of all movies. Movies just get faster as we move forward. The pacing gets quicker.
Two-Face I thought was great in that movie.
Oh my gosh, so great.
Aaron Eckhart as Two-Face. I think that movie also, and I say this because he was a college friend of mine, and I think he's a great dude, but there was a guy in that movie who also is in the Ant-Man and the Wasp movies, Dave Desmalchian. Shout out to Desmalchian.
Yes.
Crushing it.
He's the Baba Yaga in Ant-Man.
The guy that tells the Baba Yaga story in Ant-Man.
I like that guy.
Was the cop, the lunatic posing as a cop that they take in Dark Knight.
Oh, that dude is awesome.
He's so good.
Mark my words.
And he's in Ant-Man 2.
And he's in Ant-Man 2, yeah.
He winds up being kind of the straight guy for Luis. Oh,
right.
I like him.
Yeah, he's great.
At some point.
Tell him I said hi.
I will.
He won't care.
He will.
Tell him I said.
I'll tell him we talked all about him on our show.
At some point, he needs to be cast as the Joker. Because even when
he would be a perfect Joker.
When he's being interviewed, when somebody is, I think it's Gordon it's Harvey Dent is threatening to kill him, and he's still the whole time. He's like,
he's just laughing.
I'm like, oh, he should be the Joker.
First thing I ever saw him do,
Joker.
On stage in college, I was a freshman. He played Captain Hook, and he was amation.
Oh,
yeah,
fantastic.
I'm sorry. Now I'm just thinking of Arrested Development. You're a Captain Hook. Won't you know them get
all right.
I'm sorry.
Let's take a brief break and move on to the Christopher Nolan Batman.
Yeah, we're
movies.
gonna wrap it up, and then we're gonna pick our winner.
Great.
And that's when we come back. But first, hear about some of the other shows on Max Fun. Maybe Tights and Fights. Who knows what ads they're gonna be placing this week?
It's crazy.
The Greatest Generation is a Star Trek podcast that destigmatizes the very idea of having a Star Trek podcast.
We're Ben and Adam, the hosts of The Greatest Generation, and the technology we've developed is that nobody knows what you're playing in your earbuds.
You know, with legalization, it's easier than ever to find out what's in your buds. But we suggest that you legally find The Greatest Generation wherever you download your podcasts.
We'll send it to you in a discreet, unmarked package, and nobody has to know but us.
That's The Greatest Generation, the Star Trek podcast that you didn't know you needed, yet makes you feel like you belong.
Welcome, everyone, to the live wrestling spectacular in Los Angeles.
So far, the world's most boring wrestling podcast has been destroying the competition.
Isn't there anyone who can save us from this travesty? Wait, could it be?
It's Tights and Fights, the perfect wrestling podcast.
Tights and Fights is here to save us from the monotony of boring wrestling podcasts with hilarious conversations.
Woke trips through the history of wrestling.
And joke about the finer points of people wearing spandex. What a match!
And the Tights and Fights podcast will be back every week.
Thursdays on MaximumFun.org or wherever you get podcasts. Please, these hosts have families.
Tights and Fights podcast. Tights and Fights.
We're back.
We did it.
We did it. All right. Let's talk. Well, we've already started talking about the Nolans.
The Dark Knight Rises?
Yeah, The Dark Knight Rises, which here's one thing I loved about Dark Knight Rises. I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought it was within that universe. It was a nice culmination. But for me, there's always these giant things that happen, like in a comic book movie where they're going to do something insanely outlandish that is just going to be so destructive. And it's always something that's so huge and consequential that it doesn't seem like it could be real. Blowing all of the bridges that go into Manhattan seemed like
Gotham
City, which from the air looks exactly like Manhattan.
And sometimes Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And sometimes Chicago.
But the fact that it is this island with, like, living in New York, it was like the idea of all of the bridges that go into New York getting blown. Basically, it felt like a very huge act of terrorism that is very, very real and possible, which is what I feel like the Nolan Batman movies were designed to be, which is like, hey, here is horrible villains that are 100% possible.
Yes, super terrorists. And I think it is not my favorite of the Nolans.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But I think looking back, people are too harsh on it, and it's because Dark Knight was so good that coming into this, we had our expectations set too high, and it's an unfair bar for any movie to try to clear.
Right.
And I think that we just put all of our, like, this is gonna be and there are reasons I've talked about this where some movies, if they're overhyped, I will just wait until people stop talking about it to go see it because I know the hype will whatever. And I think that's what happened with this movie. It's not the best.
Right.
But it's not the worst.
No, I thought it was a fun time, and Bane is a really fun villain with that crazy voice and crazy mask.
Tom Hardy's amazing.
Hold on a second.
Exactly that crazy in real life.
Is he really?
Our guest mixer and board man, Julian Burrell, you have something to say because you're making a lot of signals at me.
The Dark Knight Rises sucks.
Oh.
It's an awful movie.
It's not
as offended by. I wasted time watching that movie. I hate it.
Oh, you big mad.
Why does Julian seem so upset right now?
Julian's mad
But
because not everything is Spider-Verse.
Julian, listen to me.
You're doing like a reverse Hulk where you're going to become scrawny because you're already so big.
If you guys ever want some bonus material, I will go off on that movie. I hate it so much. I hate it.
And somehow in my soul, I knew you would.
That's very
It's
funny.
Like, again, it's not.
It is
It's
frustrating.
Fine. And I think that unfortunately, after coming after a really genuinely and not, it's not good, but it's awesome, but a really genuinely great piece of cinema that happened to be a comic book movie, it's hard to go back to, it's good.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's fine.
Yeah, you've really, the bar has been raised. You can't just take the bar and lower it back down for the next movie.
And we should have.
Yeah.
Which is one thing, again, getting back to Marvel. It's like, one thing that they did really well was, look, we know we just made Avengers Infinity War. It was huge. Here's a heist movie.
Look,
Womp.
it's
fine. Ant-Man, and yeah, you're right. Ant-Man and the Wasp is fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's a heist movie.
And that's their schedule. Even within the same character, let's look at, this is my opinion. I love Captain America, the First Avenger. I think it is the perfect version of the Captain America movie you need to
introduce
the way
to introduce
It's a World War II movie.
Yeah, it's very silly. It's Rocket. It's fine.
Then they make
It's the Rocketeer.
What you could argue, even though we've settled the fact that it currently stands Black Panther greatest MCU movie, because we've done it, we update it every few years because it changes. Winter Soldier is arguably
Spider-Verse is not an MCU movie.
It's not an MCU movie.
So I agree.
Exactly.
Besides, also asked and answered for all time until our audience,
have me back, my dudes. I will yell.
But you follow up First Avenger with what you could argue is the greatest film, or at least one of the top 3 to 5, which is Winter Soldier, this really great political thriller. And then you go, well, where do you go with Captain America after that? You do Civil War, and it gets bigger. And that is how you progress.
By the way, you just went full Tony Danza and called him Captain America.
America.
Captain America.
Hey, we're gonna watch Captain America.
And I'm triggered because I literally have to write about all of the stuff in the break between this and Tights and Fights.
Well,
it's
then
fine. I'm almost done.
Let's get to the end. We're almost there. Who's the winner? Is it The Dark Knight or is it Batman Returns?
Well,
what do you mean or? We've been going for an hour.
There's one movie
what movie haven't we talked about?
1999's Batman Mask of the Phantasm.
Oh, that's a good movie.
I haven't
even heard of this movie.
Batman the Animated Series as a film.
Oh, it's the Batman I watched the animated series. I just never saw the movie.
Oh, so they have been killing it. Granted, they have had some hiccups. Their adaptation of Killing Joke was not as good as it could have been, and added in a whole bunch of weird first act stuff that we did not need, including Batgirl and Batman.
Yeah,
I did. Yeah, I didn't mind Killing Joke.
Huh?
I didn't mind Killing Joke.
Did you watch it?
I did. Yeah.
That stuff is weird. But
I liked Batman versus Dracula, so don't ask me.
Well, again, there are things that
the Joker's a werewolf.
that I can say that are not good. Mask of the Phantasm is a perfect movie. It might be the Spider-Verse of the animated Batman movies. It might be the Spider-Verse of Batman movies. It's good.
All right.
Wow. So let's agree right now
that it's based on a television show, so it's not going to be that.
No. Can we agree Dark Knight better than Batman Returns?
No, not necessarily.
Nope.
We don't agree on that?
No.
Does it
different?
Two very different movies.
Two different movies. Can't compare.
Yeah, but we have to.
That's our job.
I hate this.
You
got this. No, I hate this.
Yeah. Which one has a better Batman?
I like that you just have a thought though, and you're like, can we agree that this though? No, I'm like, hang on.
Well, because I want to.
If I'm ever
welcome to hell.
If I'm ever a senator, I'm going to do that. I'll be on the floor of the Senate. Look, unless we're jerks, we can all at least agree on this, right? Going from there.
Listen,
they're two different movies. If we're going at something that is more authentically Batman and is more authentic to the comic books, then yes, Dark Knight.
Mm-hmm.
But I contend that they are not comparable. They are different works of art. But if that is the criteria by which we are judging, because apparently the show is all about judging.
Yes.
Sorry,
Welcome.
Keep bleeping me. Your show is all about being judgy. If that is the criteria we are judging by, then it's going to be Dark Knight.
Yeah, that is, I think that's a fair decision to make. And it's, of course, we're comparing works of art and what you like. We're trying to make the sum.
Well, now I don't like you, so let's rank you.
What's new? What's new, Danielle? Let's have it out after all these years.
Hi, listeners of We Got This. I really apologize that
I'm sorry, Mommy and Daddy are fighting.
Mommy and Daddy from the other podcast are fighting right now.
We actually love each other, you guys. This is not heat. We love each other. That's why we can joke like this. He's like my brother.
If we can agree that the Dark Knight would win if the Mask of Phantasm did not exist.
Right. Then I have not seen the Mask of the Phantasm. I think I like sticking with the live action big Batman movies. I realize that there is a comic book contingent that's gonna, actually Phantasm is better.
Oh, for sure.
But I think The Dark Knight, I mean, it's an Academy Award winning Batman movie.
It's an Academy Award winning actor in a Batman movie. The movie was not nominated for Best Picture.
Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, the movie itself has, I feel like they will, if you win an Academy Award for makeup design, they'll say Academy Award winning picture, Dick Tracy.
Suicide Squad has an Academy Award.
Yeah. Exactly.
The Academy Award winning 3-6 Mafia.
It's hard out here
for a Batman.
Listen, if we were doing Best Spider-Man movie and And
Spider-Man
you were like,
2.
you were like, no.
What do
And
you
you were
know?
like-
Spider-Man 2 is the perfect super. We
Stop
determined
it.
on this
No.
show that Spider-Man 2 was
Well,
the best.
y'all
we
need to
didn't.
relitigate because Spider-Verse is
We
the
did
perfect.
not.
Bring
Yes,
me
we
back.
did.
Yeah. Here's the thing.
Didn't we?
No. I don't think we've done best Spider-Man film. We've done best
We did
Spider-Man.
best superhero film, and at that point, I think Spider-Man 2 won.
No.
At a point,
It's
that
never
could have been
won.
the best one.
In what planet? We didn't do
Or maybe
this
you and I just
podcast
had
in
this conversation.
2008. Listen. It was not 2008.
Look,
we
you
did
put
this
your
podcast.
hand down,
Oh,
Mister.
it's going up. Hand up.
Look,
Hal is
Hey,
always
mouth
texting
shut. Hey,
opinions.
this isn't your wrestling show. Put your hand down.
Oh!
Children, listen to this.
Wow.
Point is, if we were talking about Spider-Man movies and we agreed on whatever it was, Spider-Man 2 or Spider-Man Homecoming would be my pick. And it was,
Homecoming.
and then all of a sudden,
Now he's got his hand in Danielle's face.
And then
What
all
is
of a sudden-
happening?
He always has. His
and then
hand
all
in
of a
my
sudden, Spider-Man, I'm trying to put my hands just in front of me now.
face. Neutral hand.
If we said that before Into the Spider-Verse came out, then we go, yeah, it's whatever we decide. But after Into the Spider-Verse, even if you haven't seen it, I would overrule you so hard that
That's not how this show works.
That it would be like I snapped and made Spider-Man 2 disappear from ever existing.
Okay,
I
we'll talk
mean-
about Spider-Man later. We are over
That's
an
how
hour
good-
in, guys.
That's
Let's
how
do this.
good it is. So is Mask of the Phantasm, is it really to that level? As our guest, would you overrule the idea that it's the Dark Knight over Mask of the Phantasm?
Mask of the Phantasm wins.
There it is.
Wow.
Nobody expected this.
Nobody
I had a feeling
expected
it might.
this.
All of my
I had a
fans know
feeling
this.
it might. I had a feeling it might.
All right.
Some of you are going to be happy. Some of you are going to be upset. Welcome to listening to We Got This. People of the World, the greatest Batman film of all time. We barely even discussed it. That's how good it is. Go see it for yourself. We're not going to spoil it. But it features the best Batman as decided by us, Kevin Conroy. It's Batman's Mask of the Phantasm.
He
and you
is
can get it
the
for,
best one.
I bought it this morning for $8 on Apple TV. It is on sale right now because
There
it's
you
the
go.
80th anniversary
So
of Batman.
good.
Batman happy anniversary. We have a Batman sitting here with us. You've twice played Batman.
Yes.
what?
Once in a video, that we shot for, was it?
Nerdist.
For Nerdist.
Oh, I love them. They pay me money sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
And then on the reboot of Super Friends.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. With Johnny
See,
Young
this
Bosch
is-
as my Robin.
Yeah.
I am in here with just a bunch of golden voiced people, and it's really irritating. I am used to having the best voice in a booth.
Well, go to your Elizabeth Holmes. Hey, everybody. It's me, Elizabeth Holmes.
So it's me, Elizabeth Holmes. If you've ever heard of labs, I have the best labs. My turtlenecks are so strong. My hair never needs to be brushed.
There you go, folks.
Because I'm a man with short hair.
It's Mask of the Phantasm, asked and answered. Danielle Radford, thank you for joining us.
I'm sorry I derailed your whole
You are
show.
such
No.
a treat. Are you
railed
kidding
it.
me?
You put it on the rails
I'm
and
the dirt
brought us
horse.
into the station. We wouldn't have the best Batman movie without you. Tell everybody, if there's anybody who's listening to this who doesn't listen to Tights and Fights, first of all, listen to that. But also, there are tons of places they can follow and support you. Let people know where and what and how.
Yeah, if you want to watch me have not ranking and more subtle, I guess, takes on things, don't watch me on Movie Fights, where it's also people just yelling about which things are better.
Oh man, I'm so not used to yelling on this show. So much yelling today.
We got to get you on Movie Fights, and then you'll yell. You can also find me on SJU. I've been helping out with the Honest trailers. I don't know how long that will last. Hopefully, at least 3 new dresses worth. Find me on Patreon. Help me pay my rent. I love y'all.
There you go. This topic is settled. There's so many more out there and we want to hear from you. So email us at wegotThisPodcast@gmail.com. Go to Facebook.com/groups/ We Got This Podcast. Let's talk about Batman movies. Tell us your favorite. Tell us why. Tell us why we're wrong. Tell us why we're right. Just tell us.
And also reach out to us on Twitter at We Got This Tweets or check out the Maximum Fun subreddit. Many thanks to our musicians, Jonathan Dinerstein and Mike Furman, for our score and theme song, respectively.
Thank you to our guest producer, sit up, push up, squat, curl champion, Julian Burrell.
Thank you, Miles Morales.
Yes, our personal Miles Morales. Thank you also to our producer, Ken Plume, researcher, Kate McManus, graphic designer, Eric Hillman, and QA engineer, Jen Alba.
And thank you to you, our listeners for giving us a chance to sit with Danielle and talk about Batman and get very, very excited about this. And now I have to go see this apparent winner that I've never really even heard of.
Check it out. You'll like it.
Yeah, turns out.
Good. It's really good.
Thank you for listening. Hal, I'm sorry for yelling. We love you all.
Hal, I'm not sorry for yelling ever.
I get it.
And for Hal Lublin, I'm Mark Gagliardi.
For Mark Gagliardi, I'm Hal Lublin, and don't worry, everybody.
We got this.
We got this.
MaximumFun.org.
Comedy and culture.
Artist owned.
Audience supported.